explaining the redstone for my map that I made. So, I forgot to tell you that there's some blocks that you cannot use because you cannot clone them, such as entities like minecarts and mobs. I almost said animals. But so what you can't use comparators, droppers, dispensers, TNT. I didn't add TNT there, but see when you place them and then it clones them and then you destroy them and then it clones that nothing's there. The comparator still stays there. So yeah, unless you place a block in the same spot and then destroy it. But anyway, if you haven't seen my other video on how the game works, not like how to play it and stuff, go. There should be an annotation on the screen right now. Go click it. Go watch it. It's about 15 minutes, and then come back here. So this is how it works. You jump up here. When you hit the start button, it teleports the first player in here to there. Then it teleports the second player in there to there. And then it teleports the third player to there. And then, so you immediately step on this pressure plate, which tells you you're player 1 and teleports you to your building area. And then it will tell you if you're player 2, teleport to your building area, 3, and building area. So these commands are just really simple. You know, just teleport the nearest player, which is probably in here. It's just one of those, and then it just like whispers to the player and only to the player. So it says tell nearest player, which is probably the person in there. And that teleports the little bit, and it teleports them nearest player, which is probably here, into their building area. So it's not that hard. So, but after a little bit, after that button press, all these repeaters, it randomizes. These randomizers told you that there were Seth Blings in my other video, and what happens is if dispensers will randomly select one thing in them, or if they're a dropper or something. So you'll either dispense that or that. 50-50 chance. You don't know which is going to happen. If it puts the wood into the hopper, it'll only give a signal output of 1. And it won't go to 2, so it's pretty much a 0. But if it dispenses a sword, goes up here. And non-stackable items have a signal of 2, so that'll be on. It'll have enough to reach these repeaters and go through the whole thing. And then there's 3 of them, so you can do all these different combinations. So if I show you that without it teleporting me, you'll see we had some, and the topic is river. It'll pretty much say house every time you do it. I can't play fast enough. See? All of them are off. If they're all off, then it's a house. And it's furniture. So, yeah, pretty simple. Nothing really hard over here. Of course, you would replace this. But, also what happens is when you press the button, it goes all the way over here. And here. And here. So what happens is if you're let's say you want a minute timer, you would select a minute. Oh, but before I say that, that's a minute, that's 3 minutes, and that's 5 minutes, but this is no timer. It doesn't need, if they're all off, then that means that there's no timer. But I just decided to have one so that they look like it's down, just to make sure. So it brings it over here, turns this off, but when that button press comes, it goes all the way here, turns both of them on for like a second or something, and then it turns this on, dispenses a minecart, goes all the way up here, comes down. Every time a minecart goes through a cobweb, it is half a minute, so that's half a minute. Then it says 30 seconds left, and then goes through the half a minute. Then it says time's up, and then this is really weird here. It summons a falling sand entity. It makes your redstone block fall. So it does that 3 times, and then it does it a third time. No, it does it a 4th time counting. Okay, but this is pretty much the same command for all of these. It says time's up, and it summon, a little bit of time, summon. Same thing with over there, except that might be a little bit longer delay. So, but why does it spawn falling sand? I'll explain that later. So, if you didn't flick down no timer and you had all of them off and you'd start, it would go with no timer. So, what actually happens when you press these buttons is, as you see, it said player 1 is done. What it did was, let me just show you for a second. Just hit the done button. So what happens is, when you hit the button, it switches between here, and then if you hit it again, it goes here. Hit it again, goes there. Hit it again, goes there. But if you hit it now, when it's on the off state, it goes on, and then comes over here, and then it says player 1 is done in chat. Then it teleports the nearest player, which is probably closest to the button, in that little room over there. So that's kind of simple, but so then when that happens, and then if you press the button again, it switches back to here. And what this does is it comes over here, says player 1 is not done. So then that means it's ready to be pushed again, I guess. Also, when it is done, it comes over here, turns this torch off. And then when everyone's done, all their torches are off, turn this whole line at the top off, turns this on, says everyone is done, then comes down here, creates a scoreboard, and if you know by the end of the video, if you watched the other video, which you should have, the scoreboard popped up on the right, and that's when it gets created, right there. And then after a little bit, it teleports the first, it's summoning falling sand again, lots of falling sand. There are some blocks. So, this first one summons a redstone block over here, which teleports the nearest player to their voting area. The second one, here's falling sand that comes over here, teleports the nearest player. I made these little rooms because if I put these right here, this person might be standing over the way over here, and this person might be standing in the corner, so they might be closer, and I teleport them in the wrong spot, and that's not good. So you're closer to the command block, so I don't know how you can miss that. These shouldn't be destroyed, but whatever. So what happens? So yeah, it just teleports each player. But what does this falling sand have to do with anything? I'll tell you. So that's time's up. But then when it has the first falling sand, now you heard me that I don't want them to be teleported from here to the voting area. I want them to go in there first. So what's happening is redstone blocks are falling exactly on this block. No, this one. So when it's falling here, it's activating this one, but it's not saying player 1 is done. All it's doing is teleporting the nearest player into that box and saying time's up in chat. It's teleporting each player into their boxes and stuff. But then after a little bit of more delay, it puts another redstone block and it falls right here. Now it won't say everyone is done. I moved this up here so it wouldn't say everyone is done when you don't have a choice. It's time's up. So it'll create the scoreboard and then teleport everyone to their building area. Now, since it's a redstone block, and since everyone's done, this would stay on. So it would come over here, and then if we follow this, this is kind of like an anti-lag thing, but you can't have spectating, which I'll probably add later. But what happens is, there's a piston under here. Piston, sticky piston. It'll push this block up so that it can go around in a circle. And this is a monostable circuit, which means it'll pulse, and then it'll start the clock, and it'll go around spinny, spinny, spinny. So if we do that, as you see, and if we stop it, it stops. So while everyone is done, or the time's up, it will keep having this clock go. But there's 3 command blocks here on each one. So why is there command blocks? Because they're cloning this area over here, here, and wherever, in 2 of the voting areas. So it clones it in all of the players' area and in 2 other voting areas. So that's 3. So that's why there's 3 command blocks. And then there's 3 more over here for this one. And then 3 over here for this one. That's why if you destroy a block from a build that someone's done over there, since every time this clock pulses, it's cloning it, so it would fix it like in less than a second. So it's pretty good. But when the scoreboard is created, right here, so whoops, it says /scoreboard objectives add high dummy scores. Now I called it high because I was testing around and I just kept the name. So it adds one that's called high, but it never says high in anything, it's just high. And then it creates a dummy one, which means that you can do whatever you want with it pretty much. And then it'll call it scores, so on the little top it'll say scores. And then this one, when you're done, it would remove high, which is the name of it. So, but if we come over here, you see, this is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It looks like it does nothing. But you know, there's falling redstone blocks all over the place. When you get put into your voting area, well, this is what happens. It says pick one. So let's say that, I can't remember which player is which. This is player 1 and 3. I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm probably wrong. But if you wanted to vote for player 1, and you want to hit this button for theirs, what it would do is, it would, scoreboard players add, it's player 2. Okay, so it's player 2 and player 3. So if you wanted to vote for player 2, you would hit that button, it would come over here, it would add, it would add player 2 and it would give them 1 point. So if we do that, well, it hasn't created scoreboard, whatever. So let me just show you. If I come over here and I create the scoreboard, just like that. Now the scoreboard has been created, and it's not going to show up unless I tell it to. So how does it show up when it's like everyone's done voting? This is how. So if it as a player 2, so if I vote for player 2, let's first get rid of this. So if I vote for player 2, and you see it activated this, and then now if we do /scoreboard objectives set display sidebar high. There we go. So we see that the scores, it says scores, and player 1 has 1 point. But if we vote for player 3, and it'll give them 1 point. And if we vote for player 3 again, they get 2 points. Get put to the top. And you vote for them again. So that's how the scoreboard works. So if I bring that back up, oh no, nothing. Is that something? I don't know. I don't know. Oh well, it's going to have to stay there. So, let me go clear it, actually. Here, it's already reset. Now we'll go create it again. It's created, no points, it's not even showing, so it's just saying that it's there. So if you voted, now, if you vote for either one, this is what's going to happen. If you vote for player 3 or player 2, no matter what, they're both going to activate these two command blocks. And what this one does is it teleports them to their own, in there to see all the players' builds. But then it summons a falling sand. Yeah, it summons one that comes, I think, right here. And so it activates this, which turns off this torch. And then when everyone's done, all of the redstone blocks are here, which turns all these torches off, turns this top one off, turns this on, and it does the command that I just did. It says slash scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, high. So it'll display it when everyone's done, and it'll say everyone is done voting. So then you would just reset the map and everything would be all, you know, do all this stuff again. But go download the map if you want to see how it works and stuff, if you didn't get something, or if you want to create a server or something so you want to play it. I will tell you that I don't know if you can create servers in a snapshot. I don't know that, probably not. But yeah, if not, you're going to have to wait until Minecraft 1.8 comes out. I'm not referring to beta 1.8. No. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and yeah, just go wait for 1.8. Well, we're gonna play it. I'm gonna play it right away with 2 other friends. When 1.8 comes out, I'll create a server, and then I'll just, you know, play it with them. Probably do like 2 rounds. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.